Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel, and thank you so much for supporting me on this channel by watching ads. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited for you guys to watch today's reading. It was something I felt really called to read for yesterday when I was doing some driving and reflecting on life. While I was driving and reflecting, I remembered something I think I'd seen on the internet somewhere about like your big three loves and why you have them. And I was like, I want to do that as a reading. So today's reading will be about your main big three loves of your life. These can be people that you have or haven't met yet. Just getting whatever reading feels appropriate and just adjusting them to whatever your inner guidance is telling you about the reading. But yeah, I really loved the messages. I think they were very sweet, and obviously with this reading I wasn't really sure what we were going to get, but yeah, it turned out super cute. So I won't take up any more of your time. We'll get into the explanation of the reading, and you can find out kind of how this is going to work. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay Wildings, let's get into today's video. So as you can tell, I've set up the space a little bit differently today because I'm anticipating that we're going to need a lot of room for the reading that I'm planning today. I would have already popped it up in the kind of opening credits, probably as a little bit of text over the top of me kind of setting up our space. But I'll go over our kind of background of our story, of our reading today. The story goes that you have three loves in your life. The first one usually is when you're young. You fall in love with them quickly, you fall out of love with them quickly, and a lot of the time you fall in love with this person for kind of silly reasons, and then you fall out of love with this person for silly reasons. But this first love like shapes love for you ultimately. Then you have a second love, which is more of a karmic or difficult love, a love that teaches you so many lessons, and then a third love that is kind of your forever person in the end. So I'm going to use this little kind of theory or story to do our reading today. So for each pile, I'll divide the reading up into kind of three energies, describing your first, second, and third love. For most people, I'm assuming that all of their loves will be in one reading. For some people, especially if you feel drawn to more than one pile right now, your first, second, and third loves might be a little bit scattered between one or more readings. Like you might find your first love is in one, your second and third are in another, or any kind of composition of love. So you might need to watch more than one reading to get your full reading, just like really trusting your intuition and discernment, trusting where it's taking you, and trust your inner knowing kind of alarm bells that go off when you can kind of resonate with an energy. Like when you feel an energy is resonating, like really trust that. And oh, this is upside down. That's going to annoy me for our opening credits. But so hopefully you'll have an inkling of whether you're going to one pile, two piles, or three piles based on your own intuition now. But yeah, there will be three energies in each reading. So if you're drawn to more than one, like that's really not surprising, just based on how many energies will be in each pile. So we'll see how this goes. I am planning on getting kind of like an overview picture of like why it was these three people in particular and like what they had to teach you. So it's kind of like a who were your loves, why were they there, or what were they supposed to teach you kind of reading. So we'll just kind of see how everything kind of pans out. But that's my intention of the day. That's hopefully where we'll get to in our reading. So wherever you're feeling called, either pile 1, 2, or 3, heading there using the timestamps below. If you need a little bit more time, I'll leave you a little freeze frame so that you can kind of like ponder these 3 piles. And yeah, again, if you're drawn to more than one pile, it's probably because your particular grouping of 3 energies might not fit with just one pile alone. Like you might have messages from another reading. So yeah, just using your intuition and discernment to head to pile 1, 2, or 3 to find out who your 3 loves were, why did you meet them, and what were they supposed to teach you. And wherever you end up, I will see you there in a moment. Hey there, part 1. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful rose quartz, it's not very easy to see on the screen just because I've got all my purple floodlights on, and it's kind of dark here. It's stormy on the east coast, so we haven't really had like light and bright days. It's very dark and gloomy. So yeah, if you chose this rose quartz, then this reading is probably for you. I haven't really thought too much about how this reading is going to go, but I figure I'll kind of like separate 3 piles of energies using both the astrology and tarot deck, and then I'll just read from there and see how we go. So for pile 1, can we have 3 energies, please? I'm gonna leave that there because I'm assuming that came out there on purpose. Okay, so I can see already a few themes kind of coming out of the 3 piles. I would say your first love maybe had some watery energies, some Cancer and Scorpio energies in particular, either in placements or just parts of their personality. Cancer's very kind of maternal, homebody, deeply feeling, usually fairly intuitive, fairly sensitive kind of energy. And Scorpio is... it has a little bit more, I want to say masculinity, but just like a little bit more drive, a little bit more force, a little bit more, there's something kind of spiritual and transformative about this energy. It's usually a very intimate and sometimes sexual energy as well. The intimacy is usually very emotional and deep. The void, of course, of moon refers to a period of time where the moon is moving through usually a sign or a house where it's not aspecting any other planets for kind of the remainder of its journey through that sign or house. So usually it indicates some sort of like missing energy, separation energy, emotional distance energy, or something like that. This energy, this is much more heavily fire signs. So we've gone from like watery energies to fiery energies. This might indicate that this connection had maybe a bit more passion, a bit more, the person might have had a bit more masculine energy as well. Aries corresponds with the Emperor card, and Leo is a very kind of driven, fun, creative, also very prideful kind of energy. Aries can be very self-absorbed though. It's a me energy, where the opposite of Aries, its sister sign Libra, is a we energy. So when Aries comes out, it usually refers to someone who's very me focused, maybe has a lot of their placements around their first house. And yeah, they usually like creative things, working on their body, sometimes like kind of really fun when it comes to kind of sex, dating and pleasure, and just like enjoying their life. This is usually a fairly vibrant, charming kind of person. The North Node definitely indicates lessons. This is a heavy lessons energy. This can be usually, if you look at your synastry with someone, any synastry with the North Node is usually referring to the lessons that that person has to teach you. So potentially you had a lot of North Node aspects, especially conjunctions, but pretty much any North Node aspect indicates some sort of learning from each other. So yeah, it was kind of part of your purpose and plan to interact with this person in some way, to learn lessons from this person and to grow and evolve from this person. Lastly, you may or may not have met this person yet. This could be your, like, if you feel like you've had these three loves, then you might know this person. If you feel like you haven't, you might not. This might be a future energy, but it seems like this energy is deeply spiritual, deeply sensual, probably someone who's into kind of higher education and travel. We've got lots of watery energy, which probably encompasses some of the energies that you experienced in your first love. We've also got some more earthy energies that may ground that energy a little bit more, as well as some air energy that may make this person a little bit more mature and intellectual. And then we also have some fire energy here with this 9th house. This is Sagittarius energy. So it seems like, well, your first love was very water dominant, your second maybe fire dominant, your third will be much more well-rounded. This is a much more well-rounded energy than these guys. So yeah, they're probably going to be spiritual, sensual, emotionally available, and a bit more like sensitive. They may be mature. You might meet them around one of your Saturn returns, so at about 28 or 56, or this might just indicate that they're a little bit older than you, maybe a little bit more mature, maybe very directional in terms of where they're going in life, and kind of have all of that well on the way. And yeah, there's definitely going to be a spiritual connection here with all these energies coming out. And I would say with Saturn, 9th house and water, there's going to be this kind of feeling of fate and kind of like feeling of this is inevitably going to come about in some way. But let's get some more about why you met this person. This is a lot. Just gonna take these cards. And can we have some messages about this second person, please? A lot of messages that want to come out. And this third person, please. So you probably met this first person, this Knight of Swords, kind of youthful energy, to kind of open your mind and open you up to the world a little bit more. There may have been some challenges, some temptation, some lack of experience or knowledge in this connection in some way, and this person was kind of supposed to teach you about all of those things. The Devil card has a lot to do with experience and knowledge. It's heavy Capricorn energy, so it's really a heavy maturing energy. This Knight of Swords is very youthful kind of energy, especially an intellectual energy. It's usually someone who's very passionate about things and very opinionated about things, but maybe doesn't actually understand things on a deep level. So their opinions are very kind of coming from a very kind of surface level. So it does seem like there was an intention for this person to maybe mature you, to maybe for you to be able to see things from different points of view. This person potentially created some anxiousness, or just like some negative stories or feelings. It was potentially kind of like compounding anything that you already were kind of starting to believe from your familial patterns, like any kind of societal influence, any kind of conditioning that you kind of were on the way to having within yourself in a kind of unconscious way. This person was kind of compounding those, making them, kind of solidifying them, like giving you the experience to say that these ego stories are justified because I've experienced them, not just because it's what I've seen in the world. Which is interesting. It's kind of one of those things where we believe something and then we end up seeing something. It's like a little bit of self-fulfilling prophecy energy here. The Nine of Swords, this is a Mars in Gemini energy, and usually this refers to really creating cycles of self-destruction, really identifying with thoughts and emotions and maybe not being able to distinguish our own witnessing of them. I would just assume, just because it came out with kind of immature thinking energy, that this person was supposed to kind of give you the experience of fear and anxiety, identifying with emotion, identifying with thoughts, identifying with story, and any cycles of self-destruction that you might have been in. It was kind of like really this was trying to give you like earthly experience of what that actually kind of looks like. This Five of Wands, this is a Saturn in Leo, and this is all about self-imposed limitations, and also about kind of things that are coming from the self. So this is inclusive of limitation, but it's also about self-imposed either righteousness, competitiveness, like what else? Self-imposed, maybe only focusing on fun and joy, or only focusing on seriousness, like one of those two extremes, not being able to be well balanced in life. So it seems like while you were young and you're kind of in this more naive energy, this connection was actually compounding things that were deep in the psyche, giving you physical experience. I think also trying to show you that that was what was in your psyche, and that needed to be kind of healed and addressed. But I'll just say how, based on how the cards came out, that the two of you probably parted ways, maybe without you really realizing a lot of the lessons. Like, I'm not saying you didn't learn stuff, but there was so much more depth to these lessons than potentially what you realized at the time that you parted. And these were all part of transforming like familial generational curses and familial traumas and wounds. A lot of our familial traumas and wounds start in this fourth house of the home energy. And yeah, we tend to take a fair bit of time to actually see them, understand how our early environments kind of conditioned us, and to start to be able to kind of live differently to that. So yeah, it seems like this connection was supposed to give you a lot of experience and knowledge of like how things play out in the physical. So you weren't kind of witnessing it from like your early influences, you were experiencing it for yourself, essentially. And so that's really what this connection was trying to do, give you that life experience for yourself. It seems like this connection was trying to make you a lot more clear on what you wanted, how to be ready for what you wanted, and who you would need to be with to have the things that you want. It seems like this connection maybe stirred up a lot of loss, defeat, challenge. Potentially this was maybe either on and off, or you and this person just had really, really opposing worldviews. The Two of Swords, this energy is a Moon in Libra energy, and it's really trying to get the heart and mind aligned. It traditionally represents either allies or opponents, and so yeah, I'm kind of getting maybe there was a mix of those energies in this connection. You guys would sometimes be able to see eye to eye, sometimes not. And maybe a lot of the reason why you weren't seeing eye to eye was the heart and mind alignment wasn't there. Like you couldn't listen to each other from this place of like being deep in your heart and deep in your love, while also kind of cognitively processing what that person was saying, and trying to see it from kind of a fresh perspective. It seems like potentially some of your own stuff was influencing how you were interpreting what the other person was saying and doing, to the point where it eventually got really challenging. This is a Sun in Gemini energy, and it really tries to force us to start again with a whole new paradigm. Like usually when these two cards come out clarifying each other, it kind of signifies that there's been some sort of difficult situation with someone, some situation where you could just like never really get on the same page, even if you felt like you were kind of like kindred spirits in a lot of other ways. You're just like not seeing each other, from not being able to see things from each other's point of view, because there was maybe like a lack of maturity or something there, or maybe a lack of experience. Maybe these old patterns were still influencing the two of you. So it ends up creating a lot of hurt. Like this Ten of Swords is a huge pain energy. It's probably one of the most painful energies of the minor arcana. So yeah, there was a lot of pain here, but also a lot of lessons. So we have the Nine of Wands. Anytime a Sagittarius energy comes out, this definitely refers to lots of lessons learned. And this is a Moon in Sagittarius. So this is all about lots of lessons to do with moon energies. So the moon energies here would be things in the unconscious, especially from early familial life. And I'd say a lot of learning happened to do with all of that. So maybe your lessons from this first love started to reveal themselves in the second love. You were actually able to like learn from both of these connections after this connection ended, or after it will end if you're kind of more in this connection now. This card also refers to someone who has learned to establish healthier boundaries and stay within their own boundaries. Like when they set them, they know how to kind of enforce them, and not just let things slide. This is also about someone who's more emotionally available as well. Like maybe this heartbreak opened you up in a way, like it almost broke your heart to break you open, so that you could be more open to deeper forms of love, deeper forms of support, deeper forms of empathy, and just like more general emotional availability. And maybe like you also want more emotional availability from a partner in the future. And we also have this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe I would say because this energy, like there's a lot of very heated passion. I would say that this energy is basically kind of saying that it maybe awoke something within you. This is a very abundant, mothering kind of energy. Potentially this was dormant in you until you connected with this person, and that made you realize that maybe that's something that you want. If not with physical children, it might be with plants or pets, or there's something that you want to put that kind of nurturing energy into, even if it's just this relationship or a relationship. Yeah, it potentially woke up your kind of maternal instincts and energies in a way. So it seems like this next connection is going to change a lot for you if you aren't in it yet. And if you are in it, it's potentially changed a lot for you. So it seems like a lot of the things that are in the unconscious, a lot of the wounds will be healed. And you'll probably be able to see things from a whole new point of view. The Ace of Swords traditionally represents pure potential when it comes to thinking. It represents a lot of power and clarity. I would say it coming out in reverse is kind of like more like you're going to be on a whole new slate with this, and it's not so much of a beginning power and clarity, it's more of a power and clarity with all of this life experience underneath you. The Four of Cups refers to feelings of fulfillment, and so I would say that this future connection is really going to show you kind of just how unfulfilled you were in past connections, and just how much these connections maybe didn't meet your needs, and really having those needs met for potentially the first time in a really deep and meaningful way will like really just like shift your understanding and also your self-worth. Like you'll definitely feel a lot more self-worth and self-esteem based on how you're going to be treated in this connection, based on all of the fulfilling energies. Like potentially not being that fulfilled in these connections maybe did some damage, and so I think without even trying you'll find that this connection kind of reverses a lot of that. The Hanged One energy, this is another heavy reversal energy. So we've got basically all of these energies reversing. Like it's interesting that you had a lot of cards right way up indicating kind of like this is all happening, and then a lot of cards in reverse positions, as well as like a heavy kind of reversal energy. So yeah, it seems like a lot of the kind of negative patterning is going to essentially come undone in this connection, to give you basically a much more clean slate, more fulfilled energy, and being more in control rather than the past kind of like influencing you in a heavy way. You'll be more in control of all that, and you'll at least be much more aware of it, especially anything that has been within your unconscious that contributed to all these energies. It seems like it will be revealed to you and accepted and healed within this new connection. Moon energy is all about revealing what's been hidden. So yeah, there's going to be a big reveal of what's been hidden. There's going to be a lot of kind of reversals of anything kind of toxic that was in that kind of energy for you. We might do some love oracles. We get love oracles about these connections. Is there anything that I've missed so far? Okay, so it may have felt like this first connection was a twin flame connection. And it may or may not have been, but yeah, there was this kind of complementing kind of duality, mirroring energy here. And yeah, it seems like this connection was more about change, upheaval, transformation. I'm sensing that maybe this connection felt like a twin flame soulmate energy a lot more before you'd fallen in love with anyone else. Like potentially it felt like this person was going to be the only person that you loved, that you're going to love. So we have welcoming, love, meeting the one, opening your heart, getting together, and perfect for this one. So yeah, it seems like this feels like more the one energy, and these two definitely feel like teachers. Seems like all of these, the kind of this path of connection is supposed to teach you about your own sovereignty and like different pieces of that. Yeah, and embrace your own pleasure and power. This may have come with some sexual awakening energy. This may have come with some more emotional intimacy energy. There's going to be a lot coming into fruition, a lot to be grateful for, based on all of these energies kind of coming together as you kind of integrate all of this life experience. Okay, so this nothing will come of this situation if there's a connection that you're entertaining at the moment that's either this level down. Just like checking in, is that really what you want? And yeah, try and look at the bigger picture and hold your vision for like what you really want and what's really going to be satisfying, and just like not entering into something just kind of for the sake of being in a connection now, or kind of not listening to attachment fears or patterns from the past right now. Trying to really come from that maturity. Do we have any final affirmations, please? So we have, I choose to accept myself just as I am because I am my own beautiful creation. I think I'm going to leave that here because I feel like that's very self-explanatory. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you got a lot out of it, or I hope it just entertained you at the very least. Thanks so much for making it all the way through. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for supporting my channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And yeah, until I see you again, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful clear something or other, I've forgotten what the crystal's called, then this reading is probably for you, but as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But we're going to start off with getting some messages from our astrology deck and our traditional tarot. I'm just going to split up the piles into kind of 3 energies, referring to your first, second, and third big loves. Okay, this is a lot of energy for this first love. So you potentially met this first person while you were traveling or studying for the majority of people here. I would say that this person's very interested in personal development, traveling the world, and maybe higher education. They seem very clever too. We've got some Gemini and third house energy. Usually this is someone who's kind of smart and a good communicator, as well as some sixth house energy. So a lot of Mercury energy here. Sixth house is all about kind of lifestyle routine. This person might have a really good lifestyle and routine, or has been working towards that consistently throughout their life. It's something that might be important to them, is kind of like the way that they live. And this person there might have been a lot of desire here. You may have kind of experienced this very youthful but almost lustful connection with this person. Like this person, it seemed like had a lot to offer you, or at least you perceived it this way. Gemini can be a little bit shallow in terms of their thinking. Like it's such an early sign, they tend to be a little bit less deep, whereas the later signs tend to be really deep. So there's a lot of kind of like early spirituality, early thinking, early kind of lifestyle routine energies here, and definitely some maybe more basic fire energy, whereas here there's definitely a lot more depth. The 8th house, this is kind of where spiritual awakening starts. So maybe this person created some spiritual awakening for you. This person you might have felt really at home with, really comfortable with. There was something about this person that felt really familiar, and you're maybe drawn to them. I would say, because the 8th house does have a lot to do with patterns as well, that maybe you were drawn to this person from a place of pattern. There was maybe something that felt familiar from more of a kind of pattern of yours way. This person might have been a lot more maybe powerful, ambitious, passionate, motivated. Like this person probably had a bit more of a I would say that maybe there was a bit of time between this connection, and this person was maybe a lot more kind of mature and just like even stuck in their ways in some ways. Just because they'd existed on the earth, they maybe weren't as youthful as and open as this energy. This third love, this seems to be like kind of your perfect partner, essentially. Probably all of the things that you've always dreamed of really coming true with this Neptunian energy. This is all about kind of dreamy energies, imagination, and this is an even deeper still spirituality. I would say like the third house is where we first start communicating with spirit. It's like our basic communication with some energy that's bigger than ours. The 8th house is more of a spiritual awakening energy. And then the 12th house, which Neptune modernly rules, is really, really deep spirituality and usually manifesting from the unconscious as well. It's heavily associated with Pisces. Pisces is, like very spiritual, dreamy, imaginative. Pisces is able to dream up a life much bigger than their own, essentially. It does seem like there's going to be this kind of larger than life energy here, this very kind of like dreamy partnership, potentially with a lot of particularly financial security, but just like property, even like kind of all your real basic needs essentially being met, being well off. Also someone who has really good values, takes really good care of themselves. This is all this energy. There may be still some stuff from your past that needs to be seen and healed when you meet this person, but I would say that you do it together. I think there's definitely potential for you to be a little bit self-sacrificing and self-abandoning in this connection, but just based on how kind of how many dream person energies came out, it does seem like you'll essentially be able to grow together. So while you won't need to be done when you enter into this connection, kind of the level that this connection is asking for you to be at will require some kind of growth on both ends, most likely. Think a little bit more about what each connection was supposed to be teaching them. So this first connection was kind of initially starting to wake you up spiritually, maybe believe in soulmates, believe in some like kind of basics of spirituality. And it may have kind of opened your mind to maybe a more abundant, more optimistic kind of life. What's interesting is we had Temperance and Wheel of Fortune. Temperance is Sagittarius energy, which came out with this person, and Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter energy, which also came out with this person. And yeah, so the Temperance card is really about finding this serenity within the self, where you're able to kind of use serenity as a home state and experience emotions like happiness and sadness as kind of like fluctuations from that home state. And really the key to that is a very spiritual approach to life. So really having a lot of reverence for kind of the mundane, everyday parts of life. Also having a lot of reverence for the light and the shadow. It's a very integrated kind of energy. I would say with these two coming out in reverse that maybe they were more just like opening your mind to that, opening your mind to the possibility of it, more so than kind of being able to teach you deep lessons to do with it. It was maybe kind of like your first experience of maybe understanding that what you wanted was maybe not looking necessarily for extreme joy and happiness, because it comes with a huge crash often, but what you were looking for was actually some calmness, some serenity, some kind of peace. What you were looking for was peace, and just like knowing that you could ask for more in life as well. It seems like this person was really, this is a heavy friendship and support energy. This may be the first time that you really felt like you had a friend, that you really felt like you were supported. And yeah, this person was kind of meant to be that kind of I got your back kind of person for you, and definitely support you through maybe a weird time in your life while you were maybe fairly young and just like had a lot to figure out. They were supposed to be kind of like your teammate on that journey. I would say this person maybe created a huge rebirth for you with this death card coming out in reverse. This is really about death and rebirth, especially because we had the 8th house come out, which is all about death and rebirth, beginnings and endings. It does seem like essentially who you were before this connection and who you were after this connection is a very, very, very different person. This person probably helped you unlock this high priestess energy. It may have been suffocated within you for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't even know how to get here from here. And so, yeah, it was definitely this kind of connection that kind of opened you up to this energy. Maybe it's actually how you were showing up in this connection without this energy that taught you how important this high priestess energy is. This really understanding the unconscious, and being able to lift people up, really being able to embrace that feminine energy, especially the very wise, mature feminine energy. The high priestess is heavy moon energy, so it's really about going with the flow of life, moving with the flow of the moon cycles, embracing that each woman has different energies during different parts of their cycle. It's like really embracing the cyclical nature of life, and being able to work with it, and being able to embrace your own cyclical nature as well and work with that as well. So yeah, you may have like really matured your feminine energy after this connection. Like during this rebirth, maybe this high priestess really came into fruition. I would say that this connection maybe disempowered you a lot, maybe made a lot of things really unclear and murky. And yeah, there was a lot for you to even intellectualize from this connection, and maybe a lot that could help you mature your perspectives on life. And a lot of it, I would say, came from intense kind of pain, intense feelings of suffering, anxiousness, depression, like all of that. Like a lot came out of this connection, but yeah, they were coming from very challenging places. And like almost doing, like it feels like maybe the opposite of kind of how you wanted to handle the situation from like a higher self perspective kind of happened. So you almost learned your lesson in terms of like what not to do, essentially, which really created this rebirth. Like really it was this, oh, I'm not going down that path again. I'm really doing a 180. And turning my life around kind of energy that this connection created. You may have also started to desire maybe a more mature partner after this connection. The King of Swords is definitely refers to someone who's very mature. This is more kind of like intellectual maturity, but just like maturity in thinking has a definite flow-on effect to mature in emoting, mature in life, mature in their kind of leadership values, things like that. So yeah, definitely probably spurred you to seek out more mature connections, or will spur you to seek out more mature connections if you haven't met this person yet. And then this third connection, this connection is going to teach you conflict resolution skills. You're going to learn how to resolve conflicts in a much more mature and healthy way in this connection. The Two of Wands, this is a Mars in Aries energy, and it's really about kind of all of the very selfish me, forceful conflict energies within coming up against those same energies in someone else, and figuring out how to kind of let the guard down, let the vulnerability shine, and being able to essentially love each other deeper from being able to almost disarm yourself, and invite the other person in. So yeah, it does seem like there's some, you're going to learn some good long-term conflict resolution skills, which is probably what's going to make this connection stick. Also, you're going to experience a lot of generosity, and this person's probably going to be very giving, both with their resources, their time, and also just like their love and just like anything that they have to offer. Essentially, this person will be so generous and potentially a lot more generous than partners were in the past, based on like you guys really being able to like love each other enough to not let your own stuff get in the way of that love, I would say. It seems like this connection will feel like it's healing. It's probably going to heal a lot of feelings of regret and loss from the past. So maybe all of these things that you kind of are regretting from this connection, they're not going to happen in this one. Based on your own will, your own intention, your own learning from this connection, you'll be able to kind of apply those lessons so that you can almost forgive yourself for what went down here. The Hanged One is also heavy Neptunian energy, so there's definitely going to be a deeply spiritual element to this connection. Things from the unconscious are probably going to come up. This is probably going to be part of the conflict that you have with each other and the things that you need to resolve. You'll be able to potentially see things from others' point of view, and maybe any ways that you used to kind of really go into combat and disarm others or overpower others or manipulate or control or any of those kind of energies are going to be able to be kind of like healed, addressed. There's going to be a lot of change, especially emotional change. The Five of Cups is a very kind of like emotionally changing kind of energy. So yeah, it seems like there's going to be a lot of this. The third connection will be very different from the two that preceded it, for sure. That's probably not supposed to be. Where's the card that actually flipped itself over? Here it is. Actually, I think it's supposed to go like this. Okay, so this first connection offered you stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, flexibility. This one offered you lots of lessons, especially if you resonate with this chaser energy. So probably taught you a lot about any codependent tendencies you have in relationships, any fear of abandonments that you may be harboring. And this one will definitely be your union, wedding, marriage, soul contract, eternal love, everlasting promise. So yeah, this person was really supposed to be there for you. They were supposed to be this kind of like home base when it comes to connection, but kind of like more in a friend way. The two of you were probably really there for each other emotionally. And there was like maybe this element of desire, but yeah, there maybe wasn't this depth and deep spiritual element of the connection. Like it just wasn't the same. It didn't have the same capacity to unpack potentially what these two connections had the capacity to unpack. But yeah, it seems like this connection was just like very triggering. It definitely taught you a lot, definitely probably brought out your worst at times, so that you could see it and heal it. I think it's Greek mythology, I could be wrong. There's a goddess, I think it's Persephone, it could be someone else, that gets taken into hell to live with Hades, and she realizes essentially that Hades was just kind of playing the role of the devil so that she could kind of find her own liberation. Might be Aphrodite, I can't remember. And so yeah, it seems like this connection, this person was potentially playing this runner role. They're kind of like playing the bad guy to bring about your own liberation. And yeah, this connection is the kind of end goal, end state, soul kind of connection. Do we have any final messages, please? So you're probably at a new beginning based on all the lessons that have been learned. Yeah, there's been a lot of realizations through these connections, probably a lot more self-love, and you're definitely probably a lot more aware and able to create from more of a place of awareness and empowerment rather than kind of creating from the shadow. You're going to be able to create more from your conscious mind than your unconscious mind. And yeah, it seems like you've definitely learned a lot. You're ready for something like a new beginning. Spirit's asking, what do you still need to release, especially from these past connections? It's still a time for healing for you. But know that a fiery climax does approach. And I would say, just based on that card coming out alone, that it's probably not super far away. And just, yeah, seeing what else needs to be kind of like healed and cleared and released leading up to potentially this connection, or this connection if you've only experienced this one so far. So we have as your affirmation, I attract good luck and I'm open to receiving miracles. And I feel like that's super cute. It's a cute affirmation to take away with today. But I think I'm going to leave that here. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed, or I hope you're entertained at the very least. Thanks so much for supporting my channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until I see you again, ciao. Hey there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful smoky quartz, and this reading is probably for you, but as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. We're just going to find out a bit more about these 3 loves using this astrology deck and this traditional tarot. So essentially just be making 3 piles and learn a lot about kind of the energies of each person and what they were supposed to teach you, and kind of like why they were in your life. And I have had to turn on a little overhead light just because it is so dark here. It's nowhere really near sunset time, but yeah, it's been getting dark here like in the afternoon. Like there's not a lot of sunlight at the moment. Could we have more about the second energy, please? So this first person was definitely soulmate energy. Jupiter returns often bring soulmates into our reality. It's kind of one of the big transits known for it when Jupiter returns to its natal position. And yeah, there's a lot of blessing energy. Jupiter return in general just brings a lot of blessings. So also coming with this grand trine, which is a big blessing energy. It seems like this first love was, yeah, really essentially a big gift, a big soulmate energy. It's the first time you ever encountered a soulmate energy, and they definitely brought you a lot of, I would say, kind of like joy, expansion, maybe love. They may also have kind of set you up to eventually be able to be in this kind of final connection based on this 10th house and Capricorn energy. Like Capricorn rules the 10th house, so it's just interesting that they came out as first and last position. The 10th house also is just about you in the world, like teaching you essentially how to be you in the world. And it's also about kind of like finding your feet in terms of your career, your public image, any masculine energy within kind of matures in the 10th house. It's also about teaching you about relationships with paternal energies as well, the 10th house. So yeah, it's potentially there was a lot that was kind of going on in this connection, teaching you a lot of things about those things. This connection, it seems like more was, it was a revolution for you. It really built up who you were. It made a lot of your inner genius, your unique gifts, your individuality really shine through. It really kind of almost feels like it was building off kind of what this person initially started for you. It kind of was like really maturing those energies and kind of getting you to a like higher octave energy of this kind of like figuring out how to be in the world. This was kind of like up leveling that in a big way. Solar eclipses often kind of like build on your current energies. There's a little bit of destruction there at times, but a lot of the time it's just like much more of a building energy. We also have Virgo, which is I analyze. The thing about Virgo is it's known for being critical, but Virgo really cares about everyone getting their needs met, which is, I think, one of the reasons why Virgo rules kind of lifestyle and routine, because a lot of our day-to-day really is about kind of having our needs met in some way or another. So yeah, this person probably taught you a lot about what you need and how to build a life that actually supports you in getting what you need from the people around you, and also kind of your work, your service, your like broader, like this also rules like kind of pets and the people that are part of your everyday. This seems like a destined connection. The image here is from Kabbalah Tarot. It basically refers to everything manifesting in full. This tree of life goes through all of the minor arcana. So you've got kind of like fire or inspiration, creativity, kind of initiating things, then getting into the feeling of things, then getting into the thinking of things, and then finally coming to the fruition of things. It really teaches the manifestation process. So yeah, it seems like this is a destined connection. This may even be a connection with karmic ties to past lives. You may have been together before, and you may instantly recognize each other when you meet. This Capricorn energy, this is also, again, similar energies in terms of this first one, in terms of like learning how to be in the world. Any issues to do with paternal energies may be coming up to be healed. It's also about kind of like your following through with your calling. Saturn really wants you to live your truth, be your best self, and contribute to the world in the way that you intended. So yeah, it seems like this is really going to kind of peak all of those energies, but we'll get a bit more about why. Actually, this felt like it was going there. Get a bit more about what each connection was supposed to teach you. Oops. So it seems like this first connection was really supposed to teach you a lot about what it means to be a partner to someone. This second connection was supposed to teach you a lot about pain and grief and loss, and also about yourself and your energies, your power, and your ability to kind of create and manifest things like that. And then this connection is ultimately supposed to teach you a lot about love, life, how to deal with challenging emotions like fear and anxiety, and be able to proceed with a lot of maturity and not allow those energies to dictate your life, not allow those energies to stop you from doing things that are in your best interests, and also knowing how to be really kind and accepting of those energies and kind of work with them, like how to build boundaries around it, how to bring awareness to it, how to kind of navigate your life given like everything that you've been through essentially. With this first one, this Six of Wands, this is a Jupiter and Leo energy, and this really is a kind of abundant, passionate kind of I'm gonna do the things energy. It's also a very positive energy in terms of like recognition, victory. So yeah, it seems like this was a powerful connection for you to kind of start with. It's supposed to kind of get you kind of going with your power. The Temperance energy, this is Sagittarius energy, so this is kind of like a beginning energy when it comes to spiritual and personal development as well. So it really feels like this connection was supposed to get you to embrace your own self-confidence, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, and like starting to grow as a person. This might have been your first kind of support system in terms of your personal development. And this person probably just like taught you a lot about kind of what you wanted in life and essentially how to go after it. The Ace is all about inspiration and creativity. Maybe you have a very creative side that felt like it was kind of unlocked in this connection. But yeah, this person ultimately was your kind of big support system. And yeah, like someone that you could rely on to kind of want what was best for you. When the Temperance card does come out, this sometimes can indicate some challenges in the connection, especially with extremes, like experiencing happiness and sadness, because the Temperance is really trying to get us into a more serene home state, like having calmness and peace be our home state, and being able to experience the transientness of emotion as like fleeting human experiences that come to teach us things. So yeah, it seems like, I'm not saying that this connection was smooth sailing, because I definitely don't think it was, but yeah, I think all of the highs and lows were very intentional about helping you become the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. It felt like it was kind of like awakening a deeper self within yourself, whereas this connection taught you a lot about loss. So I think this kind of opened you up and created a lot for you, but I think then a lot of it got really destroyed in a way. The Three of Swords is traditionally a separation energy, and grief as well. Again, this is also another kind of grief energy. It's also a loneliness and solitude energy. So I would say things didn't end well in this connection. The Three of Swords, this is a Saturn in Libra energy, and it's really trying to get us to experience grief fully, have the courage to face pain, cry, accept, release, especially releasing attachment to outcome. So yeah, potentially there was a lot of attachment to how this connection was going to end, and that maybe didn't go to plan. And yeah, so this connection was really supposed to be teaching you to kind of like let go and let God in a lot of ways. The Five of Swords, this is a Venus in Aquarius energy, and it's really about knowing when to cut your losses and move on, walking away from toxicity as well, and kind of like caring about how you feel, essentially, and not letting others interrupt your own inner peace, and definitely choosing loneliness and solitude over the wrong people. So yeah, it seemed like that was a big lesson for you in this connection. There was potentially a lot of pain that came up, a lot of pain that needed to be seen, healed, accepted, and just like moved through, like all the stages of grief moved through. But that said, it potentially kind of brought you into your power as well. The Empress energy is more Eve energy. The Queen of Wands, she's a mix of Aries and Pisces energy. So she's the beginning and ending of the zodiac. She's a very witchy, powerful kind of energy. I almost associate her with Black Lilith because she's really embraced her dark feminine as well as her light feminine. And she also has these like hints of masculinity. Aries is traditionally an emperor, divine masculine energy. So yeah, she's just this real mix of kind of masculine power as well as feminine power. And yeah, maybe there was some lack of boundaries, maybe some self-sacrifice, maybe some like serving others to the detriment of the self, maybe, yeah, some self-abandonment and betrayal in general. And this Queen of Wands really needed to come out to assert her boundaries and take care of you. This energy needed to be awakened. You needed to be less... it needed to be so no one could take you for a ride. So yeah, it seems like a lot happened for you to be a much more empowered version of yourself, essentially. So this connection, this Queen of Swords refers to someone who's very perceptive, who understands much deeper truths about life. So this connection is probably going to teach you deep truths. It's also probably going to connect you to deep calm intuition, understanding on an emotional level as well, especially to do with like psychic gifts and yeah, just like deep love. I would say though, with the Queen of Cups coming out in reverse, that there may be a need for some reflection, especially around healthy boundaries. This is a very Cancerian kind of energy. And yeah, it just seems like everything that went down here, like when you meet this person, I don't think you'll fully have this Queen of Cups energy all the way together. Like I'd say this Queen of Swords energy will basically be locked and loaded. Like you'll have really intellectualized everything and understood a lot of things, but there'll just be some things that really need to come into the body and the emotional experience still. And so that would definitely take some time over the beginning of this connection to kind of like come into fruition properly. So yeah, just like allowing space for that Queen of Cups energy to evolve in this connection. But know that you'll probably come into this connection when you're very much kind of awake, aware, perceptive, and very familiar with what feels like warmth, truth, and what doesn't, essentially. It will seem like, I think it'll be, past pains will definitely need to be dealt with in this connection. The Nine of Swords, Mars in Gemini energy, usually refers to healing by facing the source of fear and anxiety, to stop identifying with those emotions, stop identifying with cycles of self-destruction, and yeah, to face everything directly. It seems like when you enter into this connection, potentially some pains from the past will be triggered, because you might end up in situations where in the past things kind of didn't go well, and so you'll essentially be trying to rewrite from a different place. You'll be kind of like rewriting the past through your current experience, and kind of like acting in the way that maybe you wish you had of back then, or the way that you've learned would have been a more empowered way to act at the time. So yeah, there'll kind of like be this period where you're trying to shift a lot of past pain and fears and anxieties into just like a healthier, like resolving it in a healthier way. We do have the Four of Wands, which is traditionally a harmony and marriage card. So probably when you get kind of these energies sorted, you'll end up marrying this third person. But it seems like this kind of like you won't be able to marry this person until you've kind of finished what you've started in terms of like taking all these lessons that you learned from your past connections and really integrating them in the body. Like if you really allow yourself the time and space to like allow all these lessons to be in your body, not just in your head, and be able to kind of like act out those lessons, like show that you've learned, you've gained wisdom from your past experience, that's when this kind of binding will probably come into effect. This kind of like long-term love commitment. Okay, so it seems like this person has probably kept tabs on you at times. And yeah, maybe still even to this day kind of is aware of what you're up to. There's definitely some sort of, you guys were meaningful to each other. I think this person was supposed to set you up for a much better mindset, for you to be able to manifest more from your light than your shadow, and for you to actually, when you get what you want, be able to appreciate it much more deeply and to feel deeper states of bliss and love and harmony and connection with people. And it seems like this person will ultimately help you heal any codependent tendencies or fear of abandonment issues. They'll essentially be able to show up for you in a way that essentially helps you heal. We are traumatized in relationship, we heal in our relationship, and it seems like that's what this person is intending to do. I don't think it'll necessarily be like super smooth and easy just based on how the cards came out, but I think this person will offer you that space to heal for sure. And potentially you'll understand why. Like, I think it'll offer you some forgiveness maybe for these people for not showing up in the way that you really needed. Because you'll feel so much gratitude and joy for this connection that you'll be glad it kind of didn't work out with these people. But yeah, this whole process has really been about you coming into your power, you really feeling nourished by your life, no longer being hungry for love, like being able to approach love with this real kind of like level of detachment, and ultimately coming into your most abundant life and self. It's time to release any negativity, especially from past pains. A new romantic cycle begins. Luck is on your side. What do you need to release? And meditate and contemplate. I feel like those are all very self-explanatory. We are really losing light. It's not really that dark outside, but it looks dark. Don't know if that exposure really helped. Okay, so we have 2 affirmations for you. I radiate prosperity and I manifest success, and I allow myself to rest and reap the benefits of my hard work. So yeah, making sure you're balancing kind of shadow work with enjoying your life. Like, you're supposed to enjoy life's pleasures as well as grow as a person. Can't do one and not the other. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave that here. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. I hope it entertained you at the very least. Thanks so much for making it all the way through, and thanks for supporting my channel by liking, commenting and subscribing. And until I see you again, ciao.